remember the day that I sat in the front of the courtroom with tears streaming down my cheeks and looked back at my husband and my children and felt so much sorrow. I remember in the courtroom everything being like a dance. It just seemed so strange to me. There was my attorney and the government, and they were talking back and forth, and I wondered, who are they talking about? It seemed so surreal. The things they were saying were about me. I knew that day that the judge was going to give me the maximum prison sentence, which was 7 years. It's strange because before I walked into the courtroom, that didn't seem possible. I thought I'd get probation, which I've had people say, why would you think that? I don't know. My range was 0 to 7 years. I didn't have a criminal history. Maybe it was just too painful to imagine that separation. I do know that that day changed my life forever. That the reality of what I had done to hurt the people that I loved, I felt as lonely as I've ever felt when I heard the United States of America versus Portia Louder. It just seemed like maybe it was my whole country that had condemned me. I was really fortunate. I was given 8 weeks to say goodbye to my children. I know that's unusual. It was a white-collar charge, so it was a real estate fraud. And I had been on pretrial, so I wasn't a flight risk. And I've had people ask, was it harder to have that 8 weeks knowing that I was going to have to go to another state, to California, and walk into a federal prison where I would be I was sentenced to 7 years away from my family. My children were 7, 12, and 14. I had 2 older children that were out of the home. It's a long time to be away from your family. I remember that day my husband got up and he pled with the judge that he would give me that 8 weeks so that I could say goodbye to my family. And on my way home, I got the 8 weeks. I couldn't even speak. I was speechless because of just the weight of what had happened that day. Even though it was one of the most painful moments in my life, there was also a sense of relief, maybe freedom almost, like now what? All the time, I've been fighting and afraid and worried, and this investigation that had been going on for so many years. And all of a sudden there was some finality to it. There was something that I could do, the next step. I spent close to 5 years in prison. It was the most difficult, painful, life-changing, hard experience that I wouldn't undo that I've ever had. Like, the outcome of that has been grand for me. I've been able to restore my integrity and rebuild relationships with my family, but I couldn't see that then. All I knew was that we were going to get through it together, and I'm so grateful for that.